Living with clarity of mind and purpose is the cornerstone of personal empowerment. It is the ability to see the world as it truly is, to understand your own place within it, and to navigate through life with a sense of intentionality and direction. Without clarity, life can feel chaotic, unpredictable, and overwhelming. You may find yourself reacting to circumstances rather than consciously choosing how to respond. You may feel lost in the noise of the world, uncertain of your goals, values, or priorities. But with clarity, you not only understand what matters most to you, but also develop the strength to pursue those things with conviction. Clarity begins with self-awareness, the foundation of all personal growth. It requires taking the time to understand who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, your values, your desires, and your limitations. Self-awareness is the lens through which you can interpret the world and your place in it. Without this internal insight, it is easy to be swayed by external influences, to adopt values or beliefs that are not truly your own, and to lose sight of your deeper goals. Self-awareness allows you to tune into your inner voice, to distinguish between the expectations of others and your authentic desires, and to make decisions that reflect your true self rather than the pressures of society or the influence of external validation. Once you have a deeper understanding of yourself, clarity allows you to set clear, actionable goals that align with your values and vision for your life. Without clarity of purpose, goals can feel vague or overwhelming. You may have an idea of what you want, but lack the specific direction or motivation to pursue it. Clarity gives you a sense of focus. It cuts through the distractions and noise, allowing you to prioritize what truly matters. It helps you break down larger ambitions into smaller, achievable steps, turning your vision into a tangible reality. With clear goals, you not only have a roadmap for your life, but you also gain the confidence that comes from knowing where you are headed and how to get there. Clarity of mind also helps you build resilience. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and unexpected obstacles. When you are faced with adversity, it is easy to feel disoriented or overwhelmed. But when you have clarity, you are able to maintain a sense of perspective. You can approach challenges with a calm mind, knowing that they are simply temporary hurdles in the pursuit of your larger purpose. Clarity allows you to see beyond the immediate discomfort or frustration, helping you stay focused on your long-term goals and the bigger picture. Rather than being consumed by doubt or fear, you approach difficulties with the knowledge that you have the strength and determination to overcome them. Moreover, clarity helps you make better decisions. In a world full of choices and distractions, it can be difficult to know which path to take. We often find ourselves paralyzed by indecision, unsure of which direction will lead us to fulfillment. Clarity allows you to assess your options with a clear mind and a sense of purpose. It helps you weigh the potential outcomes of each choice and determine which aligns most closely with your values and goals. When you are clear about what you want and why you want it, decision-making becomes a more confident and intuitive process. You no longer waste time second-guessing yourself or being swayed by external opinions. You trust your judgment and take decisive action, knowing that each decision brings you closer to living a life that is aligned with your purpose. Clarity of mind is also essential for personal relationships. When you are clear about who you are and what you need from others, you are able to set boundaries, communicate more effectively, and build deeper, more meaningful connections. Without clarity, it can be easy to become entangled in unhealthy or draining relationships, or to allow others to dictate your emotional state. But when you are rooted in clarity, you can engage with others from a place of strength and self-assurance. You are able to discern when a relationship is supportive and nurturing and when it is toxic or draining. This clarity allows you to protect your emotional energy and invest in relationships that align with your values and enhance your personal growth. Clarity also brings peace of mind. In a world that constantly demands more from us, more time, more energy, more success, it is easy to feel overwhelmed by the weight of expectations. But clarity helps you cut through the noise, to focus on what truly matters, and to let go of what is no longer serving you. It enables you to live intentionally, to make choices that reflect your values, and to prioritize the things that bring you joy and fulfillment. With clarity, you are no longer at the mercy of external pressures or the expectations of others. You are in control of your own life, making decisions that are in alignment with your deepest desires. Living with clarity requires discipline and self-reflection. It is not something that comes easily or automatically. It takes time to cultivate the self-awareness, focus, and confidence necessary to live with true clarity. But the rewards are immeasurable. When you have clarity, you are not just going through the motions of life, you are actively creating the life you want to live. You are making choices that reflect your values and goals, and you are moving forward with a sense of purpose and direction. Clarity allows you to be the architect of your own life, to build a future that is aligned with your deepest desires, and to navigate the world with a calm, confident mind. With clarity, you not only understand where you are headed, but you also have the strength to follow through, no matter what challenges or obstacles may arise. True power is not about external dominance or control over others. It is not about flexing strength in a way that diminishes others or forces them into submission. Instead, it comes from within, an internal strength rooted in self-awareness, emotional regulation, and a commitment to a higher purpose. The strength that comes from within is unshakable because it is not dependent on circumstances, other people's approval, or transient external validation. It is the kind of power that allows you to stand firm in your convictions, to rise above challenges, and to continue moving forward even when the world seems uncertain or hostile. Inner strength is not something that can be bought or acquired quickly. It is cultivated over time through discipline, introspection, and a willingness to confront discomfort. When you are strong from within, you are able to face the challenges that life throws at you without being knocked off course by external forces. This is a power that transcends any external chaos or conflict because it is rooted in a sense of purpose and self-awareness that is unwavering. It starts with self-awareness. When you are deeply connected with yourself, your values, your purpose, and your own limitations, you begin to understand that you have the power to choose how you respond to the world. You realize that you are not a passive participant in your life. Rather, you are an active creator. The challenges you face are not things that happen to you, but are opportunities for growth and development. This self-awareness is the foundation for emotional resilience. When you are aware of your emotions and reactions, you can choose how to respond to difficult situations rather than simply reacting in a knee-jerk manner. Instead of letting fear, anger, or frustration control you, you are able to step back and make decisions from a place of reason and purpose. Inner strength also comes from a deep sense of purpose. When you are clear about your life's goals and values, you can navigate any obstacle with determination and clarity. Having a purpose gives you something to anchor yourself to when everything else seems to be shifting around you. It provides the motivation to keep going when others may falter, and it gives you the direction you need when life seems uncertain. A clear sense of purpose is like a compass. It helps you stay on course even when faced with distractions, setbacks, or temptations. Self-discipline is another essential aspect of inner strength. It is easy to give in to immediate gratification, to avoid discomfort, or to take the path of least resistance. However, true inner strength is found in the ability to do what is right, even when it is difficult or inconvenient. It's about choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure, maintaining focus even when distractions arise, and doing the work even when motivation is low. This is where emotional control becomes paramount. When you can manage your impulses and remain focused on your larger goals, you can accomplish things that would seem impossible to others who are constantly ruled by their emotions or fleeting desires. Moreover, inner strength enables you to embrace responsibility, particularly responsibility for your own life and actions. It means accepting that you are the one who is ultimately responsible for the direction of your life. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you react, how you adapt, and how you choose to move forward. This level of accountability requires humility and maturity. It means acknowledging your mistakes and learning from them rather than deflecting blame or playing the victim. It means standing tall in the face of adversity, knowing that you have the power to change your circumstances, even if it takes time, effort, and persistence. Another vital aspect of inner strength is the ability to rise above external opinions and judgments. It's easy to be swayed by what others think of you, whether it's praise or criticism. However, when you are anchored in your own sense of worth, you stop relying on others to define who you are or to validate your actions. You no longer seek external approval to feel good about yourself. Instead, you are guided by your own internal compass, knowing that your worth is not contingent upon others' perceptions of you. This doesn't mean you should disregard feedback or refuse to listen to constructive criticism. Rather, it means that you should not allow the judgments of others to define your value or dictate your course of action. True inner strength also requires emotional resilience, the ability to weather life's inevitable storms without losing your sense of self. Life is full of setbacks, disappointments, and difficult moments. When you are emotionally resilient, you don't let these setbacks define you. You understand that pain and struggle are a part of life, but they do not diminish your worth or your ability to move forward. Instead, you see these experiences as opportunities to learn, to grow, and to build greater strength. Emotional resilience means being able to face the most challenging moments with the knowledge that no matter how difficult things may seem, you have the power to rise above them. Ultimately, true strength is not measured by how much power you exert over others, but by how much power you have over yourself. It is not about dominating or controlling those around you, but about cultivating a mindset and a heart that are so firmly rooted in your own values and purpose that nothing external can shake your foundation. When you possess this kind of inner strength, you become an unshakable force in your own life. You are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances or other people's opinions. You are the one who defines your path, your reactions, and your destiny. The power that comes from within is the most enduring and reliable kind of strength you can possess, because it is not dependent on anything outside of yourself. It is the kind of strength that can carry you through the toughest times and keep you focused on what truly matters. The concept of sacred duty is rooted in the understanding that we are all part of something greater than ourselves. It is the recognition that we are responsible not just for our own well-being, but for the well-being of others, our communities, and in a broader sense, the world at large. The world at large. Sacred duty calls upon us to rise above selfish desires, to act with integrity, and to dedicate ourselves to a higher purpose that transcends individual gratification. It is not simply a duty in the conventional sense of obligations and tasks, but a moral responsibility that we are bound to fulfill because of the deep connection we share with the larger human experience. To embrace sacred duty means to recognize that life is not only about personal achievement or satisfaction. It's about acknowledging that our actions have consequences that extend far beyond our own lives, affecting those around us, the environment, and future generations. The notion of sacred duty urges us to consider the impact of our choices, to align our actions with principles that serve not only our own desires, but also the greater good. It is about acting with a sense of purpose that is larger than oneself, knowing that we are interconnected with others and that our decisions ripple outward. Sacred duty also requires a commitment to living with integrity and responsibility. It asks us to align our actions with our highest values, and to recognize that fulfilling our obligations to others is a moral imperative. This means that we don't live in a vacuum, where our decisions are isolated from the rest of the world. Instead, we are continuously navigating a network of relationships, responsibilities, and influences, and we must ensure that our actions reflect a sense of duty to both ourselves and others. The ability to live with integrity, to be honest with ourselves and with others, is essential to fulfilling our sacred duty. It is also important to understand that sacred duty is not always easy. It often requires sacrifice, discipline, and the courage to act even when the path is difficult or unclear. It asks us to prioritize the long term over the short term, to make decisions that may not bring immediate rewards but are in line with our greater purpose. In a world that often rewards instant gratification, the commitment to a sacred duty requires a mindset that is focused on enduring values and long-term fulfillment. This may involve making hard choices, putting the needs of others before our own, taking on responsibilities that feel burdensome, or choosing paths that are less traveled because they align with our deeper values. Fulfilling one's sacred duty also means embracing accountability. It requires us to accept responsibility for our actions and the consequences that follow. Rather than deflecting blame or avoiding responsibility, we must own up to our mistakes, learn from them, and take the necessary steps to correct our course. Accountability is a cornerstone of integrity. It is what keeps us grounded in our duty, reminding us that we are not above the consequences of our actions and that our decisions matter. This means that we cannot simply rely on external circumstances or other people to dictate our choices. We must take full ownership of the life we create and the impact we have on others. Sacred duty also implies a commitment to growth. To fulfill our duty to the world around us, we must first take care of ourselves, physically, mentally, and emotionally. We cannot give our best to others if we are not first nurturing and developing our own potential. This means that sacred duty requires ongoing self-reflection, learning, and self-improvement. It requires us to continually strive to become better versions of ourselves, to evolve in ways that enable us to serve others more effectively. As we grow, our capacity to fulfill our sacred duty increases, and we are better equipped to navigate the complexities of life with wisdom, compassion, and strength. Part of embracing sacred duty is also recognizing that we are not alone in this journey. We are part of a collective human experience, and our actions are connected to the actions of others. We must understand that our responsibility extends beyond our own individual existence. It calls us to consider the well-being of our communities, our societies, and even the world. The choices we make affect the lives of others, whether we realize it or not. Sacred duty urges us to be mindful of the interconnectedness of all things, understanding that the way we live, work, and interact with others has a ripple effect. It challenges us to act in ways that contribute to the greater good, not just in terms of what benefits us, but in ways that foster unity, compassion, and collective progress. To fulfill sacred duty, we must also cultivate a deep sense of empathy and compassion for others. It calls us to recognize the inherent value and dignity of every person and to act in ways that honor that value. This means standing up for those who are vulnerable, speaking out against injustice, and helping those in need. Sacred duty is not about passive observation. It is about actively engaging with the world and striving to make it a better place. It requires us to take an active role in the welfare of others, to show kindness, and to extend our support where it is needed. In a world where individualism often takes precedence, the concept of sacred duty reminds us that we are part of a larger tapestry, where our actions, no matter how small, contribute to the greater whole. It calls us to live with intention, purpose, and integrity, always striving to act in accordance with the higher principles that guide us. This is not an obligation that we fulfill out of fear or obligation, but one that we embrace because it is a reflection of our deepest values and beliefs. Fulfilling our sacred duty is the ultimate expression of living a life of meaning, one that transcends the pursuit of personal success and seeks to create lasting, positive impact on the world around us. When dealing with narcissistic individuals, one of the most important things to understand is that engaging in their games, whether it's through direct confrontation or playing into their manipulations, only serves to reinforce their control over you. Narcissists are often adept at creating environments where they dictate the rules of engagement, and when you play by those rules, you're not only playing into their hands, but you're also diminishing your own sense of agency and self-worth. The temptation to call them out, to expose their behavior, may feel like the right thing to do in the heat of the moment, but it's crucial to realize that this approach rarely leads to any positive change. Narcissists thrive on attention, whether it's negative or positive, and calling them out gives them the very attention they seek. The desire to confront a narcissist is rooted in the instinct to assert your own sense of justice, to right a wrong, to make sure that their harmful behavior does not go unchecked. However, this approach misunderstands the dynamics of narcissism. Narcissists often lack self-awareness and the ability to reflect on their actions. They may never truly comprehend the harm they are causing, or even if they do, they are unlikely to change because their ego is far too fragile and protective to allow for genuine self-examination. When you call them out, you engage in a battle they are fully prepared for, and their narcissistic tendencies ensure they will find ways to either deflect blame, twist the situation, or turn the tables in their favor. What you perceive as standing up for yourself may quickly turn into a spiraling conflict where you are left feeling exhausted, misunderstood, and emotionally drained. Additionally, confronting a narcissist often results in a cycle of escalation. Their manipulative tactics, gaslighting, and emotional abuse can intensify when they feel threatened. Rather than gaining clarity or resolution, you may find yourself sinking deeper into their web, losing more of your peace and emotional stability in the process. It's important to recognize that the act of calling out a narcissist is not an act of strength, but rather a surrender of your own power into their realm, where they set the terms of the engagement. Instead of helping you regain control, it keeps you stuck in their distorted reality, where their self-centered worldview takes precedence over your well-being. So, what is the alternative? How do you deal with narcissistic behavior in a way that maintains your integrity and sense of self without being dragged into their toxic dynamic? The answer lies in not engaging with them on their terms at all. Rather than calling them out directly, focus on taking back control of your own life and actions. The first step is to stop reacting. Narcissists feed off emotional reactions because they validate their sense of superiority and control. When you refuse to engage emotionally, you remove the fuel they need to sustain their power over you. One of the most effective ways to deal with narcissistic behavior is to set clear boundaries and enforce them consistently. Narcissists often have little regard for others' personal boundaries because they are so wrapped up in their own needs and desires. By setting boundaries, you create a clear line between your emotional world and theirs, and you communicate that their behavior will no longer be allowed to affect you. This may mean limiting contact with the narcissist, refusing to engage in their drama, or asserting yourself when they try to cross lines that you've established. This is not about confrontation or fighting back, but rather about asserting your own right to exist independently of their influence. Another powerful strategy is to detach emotionally. This doesn't mean you suppress your feelings, but rather that you practice emotional distance. You acknowledge that the narcissist's behavior is a reflection of their issues, not your own, and you refuse to let their actions dictate your emotional state. Narcissists often rely on their ability to make others feel small in order to feel important themselves. When you stop internalizing their negativity and refuse to take their bait, you reclaim your emotional sovereignty. Additionally, it's crucial to recognize that narcissistic behavior is often a manifestation of deep insecurity. When you understand this, you can stop taking their actions personally. Their need to dominate or belittle others often comes from their own feelings of inadequacy. This realization allows you to detach from their behavior without taking offense. You don't need their approval or acknowledgement because their need for validation is rooted in their own unresolved issues, not in your worth as a person. When you remove yourself from the narcissist's drama and choose not to engage in their games, you create space for your own growth and healing. You become more centered, more focused on your own life, and less distracted by their attempts to manipulate or control you. By refusing to play their game, you are exercising your own self-respect and demonstrating that you will not be controlled by their ego-driven behaviors. This does not mean you ignore the narcissist's impact on your life, but instead you take responsibility for how you respond to it. You regain your power by choosing not to engage with them in ways that harm your mental and emotional well-being. In the end, the most effective way to deal with a narcissist is not by calling them out or confronting them head-on, but by withdrawing your emotional investment in their tactics. Focus on protecting your peace, setting boundaries, and maintaining your sense of self. By doing so, you create a life that is no longer dictated by their whims or manipulations, but one that is grounded in your own values, choices, and actions. Moral integrity is the foundation upon which our lives are built. It is the quiet strength that guides us through the complexities and challenges of life. Without it, we risk becoming lost in a sea of external expectations, manipulations, and the temptations of easy shortcuts. It's not just about doing what is right when people are watching. It's about holding steadfast to your principles, even in the face of adversity, and maintaining your sense of self in the midst of a world that often seems to reward deceit and dishonesty. To act with moral integrity means to make decisions based on values that transcend the fleeting desires or pressures of the moment. It's a commitment to truth, to fairness, and to treating others with the same respect you wish to receive. It's about making choices that reflect a deep understanding of what is right, even when those choices might bring discomfort or inconvenience. The essence of moral integrity lies in the courage to stand firm in your convictions, even when the world around you encourages you to compromise, to bend the rules, or to take the easy route. One of the most powerful aspects of moral integrity is its connection to personal authenticity. When you are rooted in your values, your actions align with your true self. There is no conflict between who you are on the inside and how you present yourself to the world. This authenticity fosters self-respect and peace of mind because you are no longer pretending to be something you are not. You do not have to wear a mask to fit in or meet the expectations of others. Instead, you live in accordance with your deeper sense of purpose and truth. And this alignment creates a sense of internal harmony that nothing external can shake. However, moral integrity is not something that comes naturally to everyone, and it is often tested in the most challenging moments of life. It's easy to act with integrity when things are going well, when you are surrounded by supportive people, and when doing the right thing brings no real personal cost. But integrity truly reveals itself when you are faced with situations that tempt you to act against your values, when the cost of doing the right thing seems too high, or when the truth would expose you to ridicule or punishment. It is in these moments that moral integrity becomes a test of your character, and it is here that the true measure of who you are is revealed. Living with moral integrity requires a continuous commitment to self-examination and self-awareness. It's not something that can be achieved once and then left unchecked. Rather, it's an ongoing process of growth and refinement. It's about regularly questioning your motives, your actions, and your thoughts to ensure that they align with your highest values. This commitment requires humility and a willingness to admit when you've made mistakes. A person with moral integrity does not shy away from acknowledging their errors, but instead sees them as opportunities for growth and self-improvement. They recognize that integrity is not about being flawless, but about striving to do better, to be better, and to learn from the missteps along the way. Moral integrity is also closely tied to courage. The courage to speak the truth even when it's uncomfortable, to act according to your principles even when others may try to manipulate you, and to stand up for what is right even when it's unpopular. What is right even when it's unpopular? In a world where social pressures and peer influence can be overwhelming, having the courage to stand alone, to speak out, or to make a difficult decision can be one of the most empowering acts you can perform. It requires strength of character and an unwavering belief that doing what is right, regardless of the outcome, is always the better choice. Furthermore, moral integrity is not only about how we act in relation to others, but also how we treat ourselves. It's about honoring your own worth and holding yourself to the same standards that you would hold others. This means not allowing yourself to engage in self-deception, to ignore your own flaws, or to compromise your values for the sake of convenience or comfort. It means having the honesty and self-respect to confront your own weaknesses and to strive for personal growth without rationalizing poor decisions or behavior. Another key aspect of moral integrity is the idea of consistency. True integrity is not situational. It doesn't change based on the circumstances or the people around you. It's a constant, unwavering standard that you hold yourself to in every aspect of your life. Whether you're at home, at work, with friends, or in public, your moral code remains the same. It's not about being perfect. It's about being reliable, about knowing that you can be trusted to do what is right, no matter the context. This consistency not only strengthens your own character, but also builds trust with those around you. People will come to know you as someone who can be relied upon, someone who will act with fairness, honesty, and respect regardless of the situation. The beauty of moral integrity is that it provides a solid foundation upon which you can build a meaningful life. It offers clarity in moments of confusion, peace in times of turmoil, and strength when the world feels uncertain. When you live with moral integrity, you become a beacon of stability in a chaotic world. People look to you as a source of guidance, knowing that your actions will align with what is right, regardless of the cost. You become someone who others can count on, someone who stands as an example of what it means to live authentically and with purpose. Living with moral integrity, then, is not just a personal choice. It is a responsibility. It is a commitment to the betterment of yourself and the world around you. It is a choice to rise above the noise, the distractions, and the pressures of modern life, and instead to anchor yourself in a deeper, more enduring sense of truth.
All right, let's begin. You see, the world is filled with people who are consumed by a deep and powerful need to control, to dominate, to project their will onto others. These people are often narcissists. They can be incredibly charismatic, convincing, and at times they may even make you feel as though you owe them something, like they have the authority to dictate your life. Personal responsibility is a cornerstone of human dignity and personal growth. It's the realization that at the end of the day, the choices we make, every single one of them, are ours to own. It's not about being perfect. It's about understanding that we have control over our actions, how we respond to the world, and how we navigate our own lives. When we speak about personal responsibility, it's essential to understand it in its broadest sense. It's not merely about making decisions or managing one's life in a practical sense. It's about understanding that we have an obligation, a duty to ourselves to choose the right path even when it's difficult, even when it seems inconvenient. This is not about blaming others, nor is it about avoiding discomfort. Personal responsibility demands that you confront your own weaknesses, your own failures, your own limitations. But it also means taking the full credit for your successes, your growth, and your accomplishments. It's a call to own every aspect of your life, your failures, your victories, your doubts, and your confidence. In a world where external forces often seem to dictate our lives, whether through societal expectations, family pressures, or political climates, the idea of personal responsibility is a radical and empowering concept. It says that regardless of these external forces, you still hold the power to choose your responses, to dictate the direction of your own life. It's easy to fall into the trap of victimhood, blaming others for the circumstances you find yourself in. But this mindset is corrosive. It robs you of your power and agency, leaving you stuck in a state of helplessness. By embracing personal responsibility, you stop seeing yourself as a passive player in the game of life. You stop reacting to events as though they are being done to you. And instead, you recognize that you have the agency to shape your life and decisions, regardless of the challenges you face. This doesn't mean you can control every aspect of life, of course. There will always be circumstances beyond your control. There will be times when life deals you difficult hands, and there will be periods when things feel overwhelmingly unfair. But personal responsibility doesn't ask you to control the uncontrollable. It asks you to control your responses. It challenges you to look inward, to consider how your choices reflect your values, and to ensure that, in every situation, you act in accordance with your deepest principles. At the heart of personal responsibility lies self-discipline. This is the ability to do what you know is right, even when it's uncomfortable or when no one is watching. It's easy to make excuses or avoid doing the work that needs to be done, especially when the immediate benefits of doing so aren't clear. But it's through these moments, through choosing to act in alignment with your values when it would be easier not to, that personal growth happens. Self-discipline is the skill that allows you to take responsibility not just for your actions, but for your habits, your thoughts, and your goals. It's the practice of becoming someone who can trust their own decisions, who can look back at their life and say, I am the one who shaped this. I am the one who built this. This idea of personal responsibility also ties directly into the concept of accountability. It's one thing to acknowledge that you are responsible for your actions, but it's another to hold yourself accountable for them. Accountability means that you not only own your decisions, but you're willing to face the consequences, both good and bad. It's easy to take credit for successes, but true personal responsibility means standing up and accepting the consequences of your mistakes as well. Accountability requires you to be brutally honest with yourself, to recognize where you've fallen short, and to take the necessary steps to correct course. It means rejecting the temptation to blame others, to make excuses, or to play the victim. Another critical aspect of personal responsibility is the courage to make difficult choices, to choose the harder right over the easier wrong. In a world where instant gratification and convenience are often the easiest paths to take, Responsibility requires you to make long-term decisions that might not offer immediate rewards. These are the choices that align with your long-term goals, your growth, and your deeper sense of meaning. They may not always be comfortable, but they are always, in the long run, the right ones. This idea of responsibility also requires emotional maturity. It demands that we recognize that we are not always victims of our circumstances, that we don't have to be controlled by our emotions. Instead of allowing feelings like fear, anger, or frustration to dictate our behavior, personal responsibility teaches us to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully. Emotions are a natural part of being human, but they are not the guiding force that should determine our actions. Taking responsibility for our emotions, our reactions, and our impulses means that we can choose not to be ruled by them, to act from a place of reason and integrity rather than being led by fleeting feelings. The moment you begin to truly embrace personal responsibility, you shift the entire trajectory of your life. You stop seeking validation or permission from others to live the life you want. You stop allowing external forces to dictate how you feel about yourself or how you navigate your path. Instead, you take ownership of your decisions, knowing that they are yours to make, and that every single step you take is part of building the person you want to become. This kind of responsibility is freeing. It's liberating. It's the key to becoming the person you were meant to be. And it begins with acknowledging that the power to change, to grow, and to shape your life is always and has always been in your hands.